Centering, what is that? And if I'm not capable of centering properly, I can really hurt my lower back. Those muscles I was talking about to you before here, like to create intra-abdominal pressure, the deepest layer of abdominal, which is this is an essential anatomy course. You can maybe think about zipping like a zip, yeah, from the ankles to the top of the head. In Pilates, when we are centering, this means Bonjour, Sawadee-ka. This is Patricia. And today I would like to talk about one of the Pilates principle, which is centering. So, centering, what is that? Before to explain what is that, I think I need to go through a little bit of anatomy stuff, but just very quickly so that you understand what it means. So I think the best visualization or imaginary, the thing that we can use to actually make you understand what it is to center or to be centering in this, principle. Let's take a ball and explain a little bit through that, so if you compare, for example, this ball to be, for example, from the pelvic floor, so this would be, for example, the pelvic floor right here, and right there at the top would be the diaphragm, which is located right below the rib cage and has a shape of an umbrella. So right at the top will be the diaphragm muscle, and at the bottom will be the pelvic floor muscle. But in between will be all the abdominal layers, all right? So it will be the rectus abdominis right here. This is a muscle that is responsible to actually flex the spine, and this is the one we often call the six packs, and this is not actually the muscle that we want to basically target in Pilates mainly. You will see that later. And on the side, in the shape of diagonal layers right here at the top of the pelvis, right below the rib cage, will be the external obliques, and those muscles are actually acting between the rib cage and the pelvis, and it has a job to rotate and laterally flex and also assist into flexion. We also have the internal obliques, which is the third layer of abdominals, and the internal obliques are located below the external oblique, and it has a shape of it has a diagonal shape also, but on the opposite side. So if you would compare, for example, external obliques and internal obliques, the external obliques will run diagonally this way, and the internal obliques will run on the opposite side, on opposite diagonal shape right that way. And also the internal obliques are acting to play between the ribcage and the pelvis also, but it acts also in assisting into rotation, also lateral flexion, but also to create more stabilization through the pelvis. So it's a deeper layer of abdominal. Here we are just starting to talk about the deepest layer, one of the deepest layer of abdominal. But the very deepest one is the transversus abdominis. So the job of the transversus abdominis is to actually compress the belly, compress the stomach. For example, if you place your hand on your belly and you cough, you will feel a compression. You will feel that this is the muscle that is going to actually act to expel the air from the lungs, or to make you cough actually. Or for example, when you are having a cold and you assume. So this is also something that you are going to use to expel the air from the lungs, or from, you know, if you have, for example, an allergy and you have been breathing something a little bit discomfort, so you are going to, you know, sneeze, and that's the muscle you are going to use. So the layer of the transversus abdominis is into horizontal shape. So it's, and that's the reason why you see when you talk about the layers and how it looks like, as it is horizontally. I mean, as it is a muscle that is having horizontal layers, it is then logical that it will, when you compress it, it will actually compress the belly, right? So when talking about centering, so to return to the topic here, I take the ball, this is the pelvic floor, and this is the diaphragm muscle. And when we want to center, what we do in Pilates is that we often here draw the navel toward your spine, right? So this is what we are going to do here when you are going to compress your abdomen by connecting the deepest layer of abdominal, which is the transversus abdominis. When we compress this muscle, look at what happens here. If I compress the ball and the transversus abdominis is right up toward the middle of this section between the pelvic floor and the rib cage, right? So if you compress right here and you visualize this with this ball, you will see that there is an intra-abdominal pressure here that creates some stability to provide, to place your trunk into an optimal position, right? So what we are going to do here when we are centering is to connect the pelvic floor muscle together with the diaphragm, compressing the abdominal to create this intra-abdominal pressure in order to place your trunk in an optimal position, to create more safety for your lower back, for example. So very important when you practice your Pilates to also, you know, learn how to, of course, breathe, because the diaphragm is a muscle that we are going to use very mindfully. I will talk about the breathing, which is another principle in the Pilates method in another video. But how to connect those muscles is by simply using proper breath and being very focused. And Pilates is very mindful, so we are inhaling through the nose, expanding the ribs toward the side, and as we exhale, we are going to close the ribs toward the midline of the body, pulling the belly toward your spine and connecting the pelvic floor muscle, because those muscles actually are working like brother and sisters together to really create this intra-abdominal pressure that I was talking to you previously. So you see, it's always very important to first, when you do your Pilates practice, when you enroll to a Pilates class, to always respect the level and start with a beginner program, because you cannot connect those muscles just easily at the beginning. And you know, because Pilates is one of the most complex fitness method that exists today. I think I can even say that it's quite it's very mindful, and there are some principles. It's a method, and you really have to know how to breathe properly, and you also have to build up strength on the core muscles before to be able to play with the stability over the mobility. So in Pilates, when we are centering, this means that we want to stabilize the pelvis, mainly to mobilize the arms or the legs or whatever, but we always initiate every movement from the center. So the center is actually I can say, you know, like something that we have to visualize being like zipped. When you practice an exercise, for example, you can maybe think about zipping like a zip, yeah, from the ankles to the top of the head. So you want to create zero collapse and keep a proper length, and always inhaling to prepare and pre-contract those muscles, the core muscles, before to actually perform the exercise. So it's very important to breathe in and pre-contract before acting, before performing, and then keep the connection, keep centering while you are performing the exercise. And this is going to bring you into a safe position to practice your Pilates. So I want to give you an example maybe here. So if I want to practice, for example, double straight leg stretch, which is a very already intermediate advanced exercise on the Pilates matwork repertoire, I am going to bring a lot of my legs are going to bring a lot of leverage to my pelvis. So if I don't have enough core strength, and if I'm not capable of centering properly, I can really hurt my lower back. I can injure my lower back. So, and that is the reason why you need to prepare your core muscles to reinforce those muscles in order to practice this kind of exercise. So respecting the level is very important. So here I'm going to lie down on my back and I am going to bring my legs up toward the ceiling. I will inhale to pre-contract my muscles, so already connecting, centering and lifting my head up. As I exhale, I will lower my legs, zipping everything to the midline and bringing back my legs up toward the ceiling. So if you notice here, my pelvis should not move. So stability of the pelvis over the mobility of my legs. Inhale to prepare, exhale. So zipping and pulling my belly toward my spine, bringing my ribs toward the midline, the center of my body, and lifting up my pelvic floor. So really connecting those muscles I was talking about to you before here, like to create intra-abdominal pressure. So using properly the Pilates technique is going to bring a lot of benefit to you, of course, but be properly guided by a good instructor. It's so important to understand and to practice properly the Pilates method, and you will be so much happy to see how you are going to change your daily habit, because when you practice Pilates, it's not just only by, you practice and you are toning your muscles and so on. It's just that it's going to change your habits in your daily life. Joseph Pilates used to say, in 10 sessions, I feel a difference. Yeah, in 10 sessions, you already feel, if you work properly, you already feel that you have been doing something, you've been working your core, so you already feel a little bit taller. And in 20 sessions, you see a difference. In 20 sessions, you should see, actually, you should see some definitions, you know, like you feel that your muscles, you see your muscles are toner, and people maybe will notice that you change something. And he said, in 30 sessions, you totally change your whole body. So what does it mean? It doesn't mean that you become an athlete and perfect and whatever. Of course, you are going to feel and see a big difference for sure. But you are going to change totally your daily habit. So you will walk with more economy of movement, more elegance, and you are going to feel also lighter. You are going to stand up a little bit more into a proper, much better alignment. You will start to change your posture, you change your habits, definitely. It's going to be magic. So I encourage you to practice Pilates mindfully, making sure you are going to use this, all the principles of the Pilates method, the 7 principles of the Pilates method. So see you next time in my next video where I will talk about the breathing. Goodbye. Sawadee ka. Au revoir.